Is the UK falling apart? It might sound dramatic, but look around: record high inflation, a collapsing NHS, political chaos, and even the real possibility of the country breaking apart. Things have never felt this uncertain. Is this the beginning of the end for the United Kingdom? Over 14 million people are now living in poverty. The cost of living has skyrocketed, homeownership feels impossible, and public services are crumbling. Meanwhile, Scotland is pushing harder for independence. Tensions in Northern Ireland are rising, and the UK's global influence is fading fast. The country that once ruled a quarter of the world is now struggling to hold itself together. Is Britain heading for economic decline, political collapse, and even territorial breakup? Or can the right leadership turn things around? In this video, we break down 10 major threats that could change Britain forever. And trust me, the final reason might be the most shocking of them all. Let's dive in. Brexit fallout. Brexit's fallout is hitting UK trade hard, creating roadblocks that didn't exist before. The Office for Budget Responsibility estimates trade openness has dropped by 15% as businesses grapple with endless paperwork, customs checks, and rising costs. Exporters now face VAT changes, import duties, and compliance hurdles that have forced some to stop trading with the EU altogether. While global trade and services grows, UK goods exports to Europe have slumped. Supermarkets struggle with supply chain delays, farmers face labor shortages without EU seasonal workers, and industries like transport and healthcare are desperate for staff. The result? Higher costs, disrupted trade, and businesses adjusting to a tough new reality outside the EU single market. Is Brexit's economic price tag worth it? Economic decline. The UK's economy isn't just struggling, it's in freefall, and millions are feeling the squeeze. Prices are surging faster than wages, businesses are shutting down, and once stable households are barely making ends meet. A grocery trip that once cost £50 now drains £80 or more, turning essentials like milk, bread, and vegetables into luxuries. Rent and mortgage rates have soared, energy bills have doubled, and families face impossible choices: heat their homes or put food on the table. Meanwhile, salaries remain stagnant, pushing workers from nurses to teachers onto the picket lines. Job security is crumbling as layoffs rise. This isn't just a downturn, it's a seismic shift. If nothing changes, businesses will collapse, inequality will deepen, and faith in the system will erode. The real question: can the UK turn this around? Political instability. The UK has always had political turbulence, but recent years have been absolute chaos. 6 prime ministers since 2016: Cameron, May, Johnson, Truss, who barely lasted 7 weeks, Sunak, and now Starmer, each promising stability yet delivering more uncertainty. Scandals, party infighting, and reckless policies have shattered public trust. From Partygate to disastrous economic decisions that sent markets crashing, the government feels more like a circus than a leadership body. Meanwhile, real issues: an overstretched NHS, underfunded public services, and a crippling cost of living crisis are left unaddressed. As politicians battle for power, ordinary people pay the price. So the real question: can Britain find the leadership to fix this mess, or is the system too broken to recover? Northern Ireland tensions. Post-Brexit tensions in Northern Ireland have tested UK stability, largely due to trade frictions from the Northern Ireland Protocol, intended to prevent a hard border with the Republic of Ireland. The protocol instead created a customs border in the Irish Sea, disrupting trade between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. Unionist parties strongly oppose this, arguing it weakens Northern Ireland's ties to the UK. Protests and sporadic threats of violence have heightened concerns about the region's fragile peace under the Good Friday Agreement. Meanwhile, UK to EU diplomatic relations remain strained as Britain seeks to renegotiate or override parts of the protocol. These tensions raise critical questions about the future of UK unity and sovereignty. Can a lasting solution be found to address these divisions? Scotland's independent movement. Scotland's push for independence has been brewing for years, but now it feels more real than ever. Many Scots are questioning whether staying in the UK truly benefits them. Brexit, leadership struggles, and economic challenges have strengthened the case for independence. In 2014, Scotland voted 55% to remain in the UK, but much has changed since then, especially Brexit. Scotland overwhelmingly voted to stay in the EU, but was forced out, leaving many feeling unheard. Independence would allow Scotland to rejoin the EU, take control of its economy, and shape policies that reflect its people's needs. However, major challenges remain: economic uncertainty, currency concerns, and Westminster's refusal to allow another referendum. Will Scotland finally break away, or can the UK hold together despite the divide? Declining public services. The UK's public services are under immense strain, facing funding shortages, staff crises, and rising demand. The NHS is struggling with record waiting times, staff burnout, and budget limitations, leading to delayed treatments and declining patient care. Schools are battling funding cuts, overcrowded classrooms, and teacher shortages affecting education quality. Public transport, particularly rail and bus network, suffers from strikes, underinvestment, and fare hikes, disrupting daily life. Local councils responsible for social care and community services are in financial distress, forcing cuts to essential programs. The cost of living crisis has only increased pressure, with more people relying on limited resources. As dissatisfaction grows, the government faces mounting political and social challenges. Can the UK reverse this decline before the situation worsens? Housing crisis. The UK's housing crisis is spiraling, with soaring property prices, skyrocketing rents, and a severe lack of affordable homes pushing many into uncertainty. For countless people, homeownership feels unattainable as wages lag behind inflation and mortgage rates rise. Renters face constant price hikes, eviction risks, and insecure tenancies, while social housing shortages leave thousands stuck on waiting lists or in overcrowded conditions. Homelessness is growing both on the streets and in hidden forms like couch surfing and temporary housing. This crisis isn't just about housing. It impacts mental health, job security, and social mobility. Without bold action, such as large-scale house building and stronger tenant protections, stable housing could become a privilege, deepening inequality. How did we reach this point, and is there still hope for a solution? Aging population. The UK's aging population is putting immense pressure on public services and worsening workforce shortages. With life expectancy rising and birth rates falling, fewer working-age people are left to support growing demands for healthcare, pensions, and social care. The NHS and care sectors are struggling with staff shortages worsened by Brexit and reduced immigration. Key industries like transport, hospitality, and manufacturing also face labor gaps, slowing economic growth. As tax contributions shrink while state support needs rise, public finances are under strain. Without bold reforms in workforce participation, skills training, and immigration, can the UK sustain its economy and essential services? Climate change. Rising tides swallow coastlines, heat waves bake city streets, and tempests tear through the countryside. Climate change isn't looming, it's here. Homes flood, crops fail, and roads crack under the pressure of a warming world. Yet, ambition battles hesitation. Green policies stall, and economic fears overshadow urgent action. The UK stands at a crossroads. Will it champion wind and solar, fortify flood defenses, and rewild landscapes, or stumble into crisis unprepared? Public transport, sustainable housing, and clean industries must lead the charge. The cost of inaction is clear. The question is, will Britain shape the future, or let disaster shape it? Decline in global influence. Once a global powerhouse, the UK now struggles to maintain its influence on the world stage. Brexit fractured ties with the EU, weakening both economic strength and diplomatic leverage. Once a vital link between the US and Europe, Britain now finds itself increasingly sidelined in major geopolitical decisions. Trade deals have yet to fully compensate for lost EU access, while political instability has further damaged its credibility. Meanwhile, rising powers like China and India are reshaping global dynamics, pushing the UK to the periphery. Though cultural and financial soft power remains strong, the nation needs strategic leadership, stronger alliances, and economic resilience to stay relevant. Can Britain reclaim its influence, or has its time as a global leader truly ended? Is this the beginning of the end for the UK? Economic turmoil, a crumbling NHS, political chaos, and rising separatism paint a bleak picture. A nation that once shaped the world now struggles to hold itself together, yet history proves resilience is possible with bold leadership, reform, and a will to change. The question isn't just survival, but revival. Will Britain adapt and reclaim stability, or are we witnessing its slow unraveling? The future is uncertain, but today's choices will decide whether the UK stands strong or fades into history. What do you think? Can Britain turn things around?